And the headlines. ISWAP attack military base in Borno. Navy destroys 6 illegal refining sites in Delta. Air Peace flight aborts takeoff in Abuja after engine failure scare. On the foreign scene, Morocco protests enter 13th day as youth movement gains momentum. Hello and welcome to News Updates on Trust TV. I am Maimuna Bagudu. And now we begin with security matters. Several soldiers are feared dead and others injured after fighters from the Islamic State of West African Province, ISWAP, attacked a military base in Gamdu, Borno State earlier Friday morning. Now, report says the terrorists stormed the Gamdu military camp around 2 a.m. and began shooting at soldiers on duty. Now, following the attack, the military reportedly sealed off the Maiduguri-Damaturu highway, leaving many travelers and motorists stranded. The insurgents reportedly carried out a late-night assault on the Gamdu military camp, causing casualties among the troops. Now, some of the injured soldiers have been taken by ambulance to the Yobe State University Teaching Hospital in Damaturu for treatment. Now, Kankia town, the headquarters of Kankai local government area of Katsina State, was thrown into confusion following bandit attacks that resulted in abduction of 2 women. Now, the bandits that strike Sabwar Kaswar Kankia around 11 p.m. on Wednesday silently sneaked into the area and went straight to the residence of their targets. The abductees include a new bride and another middle-aged woman. According to eyewitnesses, one resident of Bakin Kaswa area was severely beaten by the bandits, and later the gang leader ordered for his release. At the moment, residents of Kankia town are asking the government authorities to wake up to the challenge, daring to stand firm in defense of their community. And Trust TV's news has earlier reported people of Dutsima area raising alarm over the activities of bandits who often cross over to Kankia, Kuseda, Charanchi and parts of Sanyawa in Kano State to launch deadly attacks on residents. The residents who express concerns are also appealing to the state and local governments to make a settlement that would cover the entire state. Now, the fight against malnutrition in Nigeria has received a major boost as the federal government, through the Office of the Vice President, officially inaugurated the Nutrition 774 initiative in Adamawa State. The initiative adopts a bottom-up multi-sectoral approach to tackling the growing challenge of malnutrition across the country. Now, Trust TV's Gibson Swadigo reports.
The rate of malnutrition among children and women in Nigeria remains a pressing national concern. Here in Adamawa, the launch of the Nutrition 774 initiative marks a significant step in the ongoing effort to strengthen food security, improve health outcomes, and promote community well-being. The flag-off ceremony held in Yola brought together key stakeholders from the health sector, traditional institutions, and social welfare organizations, all united by a common goal, building a healthier and better nourished nation. Spearheaded by the Office of the Vice President, the initiative aims to integrate nutrition into all levels of governance through a bottom-up strategy. In Adamawa, the program will be implemented across the state's 3 senatorial zones.
Notably, in 2025, we released about 300 million as a matching grant for the Child Nutrition Fund. Thus, we believe that healthy, well-nourished citizens are less prone to disease, more productive, and more able to contribute to social and economic growth. While some progress has been made in combating malnutrition, we must admit that the impact of climate change and economic downturn has slowed down the progress made. Nevertheless, we are confident that through this initiative and by working together, we can reverse these trends and reduce the nutrition burden in our state.
According to the National Demographic and Health Survey, about 37% of Nigerian children under 5 are stunted due to chronic malnutrition, while 22% are underweight. with the Northeast region, including Adamawa, among the most affected.
So this initiative recognizes the need for a bottom-up approach, one that is community-driven and one that is government-led. Because at the federal level we make a lot of policy decisions, but to ensure implementation we must start from the grassroots. So this administration of the Renewed Hope Agenda is clear and focused on delivering nutrition interventions to the grassroots, given its importance. This focuses on ensuring that it is contextually tailored to the needs of the people.
The program rolls out across Adamawa's senatorial zones. It brings renewed optimism that no child, woman, or household will be left behind in the fight against malnutrition. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
Now, the Forward Operating Base FOB Escravos of the Nigerian Navy says it has deactivated 6 illegal refining sites at Obodo Omadino community in Warri South local government of Delta State. Now, Navy Captain Ikenna Okoloagu, the commanding officer of the FOB Escravos, disclosed this in a statement on Friday in Warri. Okoloagu said the operations were carried out between October 2nd and October 6th in the coastal community. He said that an approximated 11,200 liters of stolen crude were seized in the series of coordinated operations. The Navy boss added that the products were discovered in 28 dug-out pits and 6 polythene sacks. Okoloagu said that the operations were part of the ongoing Operation Delta Sanity 2, adding that the feat was made possible through credible intelligence. According to him, the operations aligned with the strategic directives of the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, to stern illegalities in the maritime space. Now, former Vice President Yemi Osibanjo has faulted the Nigerian Supreme Court for what he described as inconsistency and excessive reliance on technicalities at the expense of substantive justice. Osibanjo, a professor of law, made the observation in Ilorin, Kwara State capital during the second Professor Yusuf Ali annual lecture organized by the Kwara State University on Thursday. He said Nigeria's justice system must undergo a fundamental restructuring to align with the needs of the people rather than glorifying procedural formalities. The former vice president lamented that Nigerians' continued attachment to outdated legal doctrines undermines the delivery of justice and erodes public trust in the judiciary. Odinkalu argued that Nigerians' legal system remains tied to its colonial past and must be reimagined to reflect the country's realities and aspirations. Now, all is set for the formal defection of Enugu State Governor Peter Mba from the People's Democratic Party PDP to the All Progressive Congress APC on Tuesday, October 14th, 2025 in Enugu, the state capital. Mba is expected to join the ruling party alongside elected national and state legislators, members of the state executive and party leaders from ward and local government levels across the state. The APC National Chairman Professor Nentawe Yilwata and Deputy National Chairman South Honorable Ima Enugu, while inaugurating a 7-man caretaker committee for the party in Enugu State, hinted at ongoing efforts to strengthen the party's influence in the southeast region. Now, confirming the development to newsmen at the APC National Secretariat in Abuja after taking the oath of office, the newly inaugurated Enugu State APC Caretaker Committee Chairman Ben Nwoye disclosed that the governor and his appointees would officially be received into the party on October 14. And now moving on to Borno State, where the governor, Babagana Zulum, has commissioned new housing estates for teachers and health workers in his hometown of Mafa local government area. The project aimed to address housing deficit caused by the destruction of public infrastructure during the Boko Haram conflict. Non-Trust TV's Bitrus Kuruti reports.
The newly commissioned facilities include 24 two-bedroom semi-detached units for health workers and 48 three-story buildings equipped with essential amenities for teachers.
Good honor and privilege to commission This teacher's quarters built by Manu State Government here in Mafa Town, or Mafa Local Government area, to the glory of God and to the benefit of the teachers. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Governor Zulum, while presenting keys to the beneficiaries, recognized Mabel Ijoma, a dedicated health worker who continued serving her community despite threats and repeated insurgent attacks. In appreciation, the governor offered her son automatic employment in the Borno State Civil Service.
I've never met a governor like this in my life. He is a good man, wonderful, and my prayer for him is that he will go higher.
What did the governor do to you?
He has blessed me, giving job to my son, giving me a house that I never think of having in Mafa. And even financial, he has been supplying all my needs. Even in my office, all what I need, he has been so faithful giving it to me. And I'm grateful. I pray God will never make him to go back.
Earlier, the Borno State Commissioner for Education, Lawan Walkilbe, commended the governor for prioritizing workers' welfare through the provision of decent housing and improved working conditions.
Today we inaugurated 2 phases of teachers' quarters in Mafa. The first one is about 12 units of 2 semi-detached houses, making 24 2-bedroom houses. Then the second one is 48 units of 3-bedroom houses, 2-story buildings, about 8 blocks. It's for the teachers in Government Day Secondary School Mafa, the local education authority in Mafa here, and the Vocational Enterprise Institute here in Mafa. His Excellency has prioritized teachers' welfare, and wherever we have mega facilities, we build teachers' quarters. If you have followed us, we have inaugurated quite a number of teachers' quarters in numerous local governments.
He added that the newly completed projects will enhance productivity and motivate staff to remain dedicated to their duties. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
This is news update on Trust TV coming up after the break. Air Peace flight aborts takeoff in Abuja after engine failure scare. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories once again. ISWAP attack military base in Borno. And Navy destroys 6 illegal refining sites in Delta. Now moving on to more stories. Passengers aboard on Air Peace flight from Abuja to Asaba on Friday narrowly escaped disaster after the aircraft suffered an engine failure during takeoff preparations at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. The incident occurred as the plane accelerated down the runway when a loud explosion and flashes of light amazed passengers. The pilots immediately aborted the takeoff and safely taxied the aircraft back to the terminal. All the passengers were safely evacuated and no injuries were reported. Now, eyewitnesses described moments of panic before relief set in. We were at full speed when a loud bang shook the plane. The pilot remained calm, informed us of the engine failure and returned us to the terminal. Now, airport sources confirmed that engineers are currently inspecting the aircraft to determine the cause of the malfunction, and Air Peace has yet to issue an official statement on the incident. Now, meanwhile, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority is expected to open an investigation in line with standard aviation safety procedures. Now, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, has charged the ad hoc committee on the mismanagement of oil spill cleanup funds to thoroughly investigate the causes of mismanagement surrounding funds allocated for cleanup projects in the Niger Delta. Now, speaking at the inauguration of the committee, the Speaker, represented by the House Whip Usman Kumo, said the investigation must uncover the factors responsible for the poor handling of the cleanup process. He stressed the need to examine how the funds were utilized, assess the competence of those appointed to manage the project, and determine whether there was accountability in the entire process. The chairman of the committee, Okpolum Etta, described the assignment as a crucial step towards promoting accountability, transparency, and environmental justice for the Niger Delta. Etta noted that despite huge allocations and years of intervention, the region continues to face severe environmental degradation and unfulfilled promises.
We must understand the causes of the mismanagement. Two, we must equally understand what was involved in the entire funds dedicated for the cleanup. Three, we have to find out the capacity of the managers that were put in place by government to manage the funds of the cleanup. And three or four, we have to equally understand whether there was accountability in the whole process of the management of the cleanup funds.
The Niger Delta has faced years of environmental degradation and untold damage due to oil exploration and frequent spills. In response, various government agencies have been created or assigned the responsibility of conducting environmental remediation and cleanup operations. Unfortunately, troubling reports of alleged mismanagement, inefficiency, and poor coordination have overshadowed these initiatives. Similarly, this House has also received reports that funds allocated for cleanup efforts have not produced the anticipated outcomes.
Now, thousands of Christians, particularly Catholics from across the world, converge in Ayati Hill in Gwa local government area of Benue State for a spiritual exercise dedicated to prayers for peace and unity in Nigeria. The event was part of devotions and celebrations marking this year's pilgrimage at the Siso Maria Pilgrimage Center, Ayati, in Benue State. Our correspondent in Benue was at the pilgrimage and filed in this report.
Along the Aliede Makudi Road in Gwe local government area of Benue State stands a modest hill, which is home to the Siso Maria Pilgrimage Center, founded by the Catholic Diocese of Makudi. For over 7 years, the center has hosted thousands of faithful from within and outside the diocese every 2nd of October for devotions and prayers. Once again, the hill came alive as worshippers trooped the rugged mountain in their numbers for supplications and spiritual renewal. The penitential session prepared the faithful who went into confession as choirs rendered hymns in various dialects. The highlight of the pilgrimage was the co-celebrated Holy Mass, led by the bishops of Makurdi and Maiduguri dioceses, together with priests from across the diocese of Makurdi who reconsecrated the Makurdi diocese, Benue State, and the entire nation to God.
Undo everything that we have brought to you that is good and pleasing to you. May your gaze shine on us, so that in all that we do, in all that we say, may begin from you and may be happily ended through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Significantly, the burning of petitions and the release of balloons into the sky symbolized the faithful's prayers rising to heaven as the congregation erupted in joyful celebration. Some pilgrims shared their experiences, describing the annual event as a time of deep reflection, thanksgiving, and renewed faith.
My experience has just been glorious. If you listen to the homily of the visiting bishop, he said our mother doesn't stop when she achieves what she wants. My experience is that every year you come, you find something new. You see people, different miracles happening in their lives. Some are testified, some are just shared quietly. But my experience is just wonderful. I feel rejuvenated anytime I come to Ayati. And you know, Jesus always went to the mountain. Anytime he had a function, something to do, he went to the mountain. So the mountain brings good tidings.
Have good weather and receive special blessings from God. So I thank God for enabling us to gather here every year. And I pray that we'll continue to do this to encourage one another.
As the Sesu Maria pilgrimage came to a close, participants departed with a sense of spiritual renewal, stronger personal faith, deeper communion with God, and hope for healing from life's many challenges.
And now in business, the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI, has emphasized the need for the Nigerian government to accelerate economic reforms to stimulate sustainable growth, improve living standards, and restore investment confidence. The LCCI stated this in its presentation of the private sector perspective on the recently released Nigerian Development Update 2025 by the World Bank, which underscored the urgent need for Nigeria to accelerate economic reforms and tackle rising poverty levels. The chamber reiterated that the time for decisive action is now if Nigeria is to reap the gains of the reforms and thereby restore investor confidence, stimulate sustainable growth, and improve living standards. Speaking, the Director General of LCCI, Chinyere Almona, noted that while the government has taken commendable steps in fiscal and monetary policy management, the pace of reform implementation remains too slow to tackle the rising poverty levels and deliver the structural transformation needed in the economy. She identified key areas that require urgent attention, including investment in agricultural value chains, energy sector reforms, and infrastructure development. Now, away from Nigeria, for the 13th consecutive day, protesters filled the streets of Morocco's capital on Thursday, demanding sweeping reforms in jobs, housing, healthcare, and education. The Generation Z-led movement, which began in late September, has rapidly spread to major cities, including Casablanca. What initially erupted as chaotic clashes, leaving 3 people dead and hundreds injured, has since evolved into peaceful, organized demonstrations. The protesters say their calls for justice and dignity are beginning to resonate. Demonstrators are also denouncing widespread corruption and criticizing the government for prioritizing international sporting events over essential public services. On Friday, organizers have called for a pause in rallies as attention shifts to King Mohammed's anticipated speech, widely viewed as a potential turning point for a generation that feels sidelined yet increasingly hopeful. With that, we've come to the end of News Update on Trust TV. Do want to follow us on all of our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more news. I am Mimuna Bagudu. Good evening.